Welcome to the CIONET Podcast. My name is Hendrik Deckers. I'm here today with Angélique Bidault-Verliac, who is the Chief Data and Performance Officer at SNCF Connect Tech in the beautiful Paris in France. A very warm welcome, Angélique.
Hi, I'm very pleased to be with you today.
Angélique, over the past years, you've led the evolution of SNCF Connect Tech from strong digital roots to becoming a data-driven and AI-augmented organization, powering the SNCF Connect platform used by millions of people in France every day. Your work spans customer data, performance management, AI innovation, contributing to significant business impact on a platform that reached record engagement and supports the company growth. Angélique, you had quite a journey from building the customer data strategy back in 2011 to leading the performance and data team today. If you had to pick one defining thread that runs through this journey, the core principle that shapes your approach, what would that be?
One of my convictions is that we don't do data for the pleasure. We do data to solve an issue, something that is very important to fix on. From the beginning, I believe that data must respond to this purpose, because for me it's very important that the data is like a compass, you see, it's like the objective that you need to fix. And for me, it's very important to help people to make better decisions.
Okay, super. So if you look back, was there a moment early in your career that hinted that one day you would be driving a big transformation like you're doing today?
In fact, when I'm back, I don't have one specific moment that I make some, let's say, transformation. In fact, I follow some opportunities. I compare always my career, my job like the yoga. You need to test some posture, you need to test something. And at the beginning, it's very, very difficult to do it because it's the first time. But each time you try, and one day you arrive. So in fact, I follow this opportunity like this sport, and I arrive and I do what I would like to do with my convictions.
Okay, so a yoga-inspired career, we could say, right?
Yes. For me, it's very important to make some impact in the enterprise, in the company. For me, it's not important to be like a director. What is very important is to have an impact. So if I can try and maybe I made some mistake, it's okay, it's fine. But the most important is to have an impact for the company.
Okay, super. Now, Angélique, let's start maybe with some context. So SNCF Connect Tech, it's part of the French railways, right?
Yes.
And so can you tell us what is really the mission of SNCF Connect Tech, and how does your performance and data team support that mission?
Okay. SNCF Connect Tech, it's a France tech lead company in sustainable mobility. So we have two brands. The most famous one is SNCF Connect. It's the application where you have to buy some tickets when you want to take the train. And the second brand is Tesmo, and it's more digital solution hub that we offer to B2B business to business. So that is the company. And in my data team, in fact, we're working on all the data stuff that you have to make better decision, to personalize customer relationship, to make sure that the client are very satisfied at the end of the day.
Okay, super. So in recent years, you have delivered multiple high-impact initiatives, and we will talk about that. But if you had to pick one achievement that you're most proud of, which one would that be? And maybe you can take us back to the moment where that started.
Okay, so the most moment that is very important or impactful for me is it's a project named Train-spective in French. This project started at the hackathon, internally hackathon that we did at the internally. And why it's very important project for me, because it is for the first time that we use data, the people data, huge amount of data, to give to people their, let's say, their year in review and journey. So we compare how many trains they take during 1 year to the CO2 emission compared to the driving. And we give it that at the end of the year. And the people was very, very proud of that. So our customers share it on social media. It was very amazing. And in back office, like the data, the team was very, very, very engaged on that because it was a huge amount of huge amount of algorithmic, and it was very success, and I was very proud about that. And in fact, I will give you maybe one result, because the first day that we launched, there was more than 5.6 million of visits in one day, just to see how many times, or not how many times, how many kilometers they take by train in a year. So it was very great successful.
Okay. So, and that is also, and it's called My Train-spective?
Yes. So my retrospective give you, in fact, we take all the train that you take in a year on that you book on the application. We calculate the kilometers, so it gives you some data, and then we compare that to the emission of CO2 that you will have if you take the driver, the car. Okay. And we explained that to the people, and it was very fun, and it was very great to expose that to our clients.
Okay, so it was to expose, to make clear how much CO2 emissions that people saved by taking the train instead of taking the car. Wow.
Yes, and in fact, you didn't see, but we have more than 15 million of clients. So each client had a specific way to take the train. So we have when you take the train, you have different trains. There is some high-speed trains we have, and we have more daily train. So we need to make very, very precious algorithmic to make sure that we are right in terms of calculation.
Okay, and can you maybe tell me where did this idea came from, and what were the different steps that you had to take to implement this project?
Alors, this project comes from an idea of people during innovation days, like we name hackathon. And there is some business team, marketing teams, everything was in the same room, and they find this idea. It was very great. And so we decided to do it the first time in 2022, sorry. And so at the beginning, it was very simple version with the total of number of kilometers that you do by train, compare, like, for example, the Earth, and so it was the first version. And as we are very successful of people, because when you receive that on your application, people say, wow, I do a lot of train
Kilometer,
yes, and so I economize CO2 emission, and they was very proud about that, and so they would like to share it, for example. But at the first version, we can't share it because we just explain to the people how many kilometers they do and how many CO2 they economize compared to the driving. So the second version, we decide to add more button to share with people. So we do something like that. And each time we add some feature to better personalize the relationship with the client.
Okay. Now, if you look back, this has been now live for several years, you say, started in 2022. What were the main challenges that you had to overcome to launch this application?
Alors, you didn't see that, but the most challenge is about the data. Because in fact, when you take the train, you need to book a way to go and the way you come from. And between both, you do some kilometers, but we don't have this in our database. We need to calculate that. That was the first challenge. So we need to do and to make sure that we are true to see on open data where we can find this information. That was the first challenge. And the second challenge was to calculate the CO2 emission that you earn compared to the driver. And so we have in French, we have the ADEME. It's a French company who gives you the equivalent that to make sure that we do good calculation. And in fact, it was very complicated because when you take a train, the high-speed train compared to the daily train are not the same. So it was very complex because we need to make sure that we have that. That was the first one. And then what we do to make sure that the calculation is correct, we ask some people to give their combination, and we compare to what they think and when we have in the database.
Okay, super application. Now let's talk about another application, a program that you have implemented, and that is the full train alert system. Can you explain us what that is?
Okay, so when we would like to take the train in France, okay, sometimes you want to take it on the Wednesday or during the vacation. It's normal, okay, and the people can see that the train is full. So there is some frustration about the people because, in fact, they can't book their train. So we hear that about the consumer, we hear that and we say, why can we develop for them a feature that they help them to book the train when a seat will be available. So we propose this feature so they can subscribe to a notification. They say, yes, I would like to make aware when the seat will be available. Great. And so we decide to launch that. Even if we don't know if there is a huge people will subscribe to that. And it was very successful. Because one of two people who subscribe to the alert will take the train later. So we have very great, client satisfaction, and it was very a good project.
Okay, now these are two very, very nice examples of applications that you can build, but your data needs to be well organized for that. So maybe we can go a level deeper. Can you tell us a little bit about your data strategy, how you organized your data, and what was the challenges and the approach that you took there?
Alors, about the data strategy. One thing is very important for me at the beginning is that we do not collect all the data and we'll see later. We collect only the data that we need. And it's very important, first of all, to have that, because when you collect only the data that you need for a use case, for to resolve an issue, in fact, your data that you collect, you can follow it. You can make some data quality on that. And you are sure that when you display the data for the customer or for the business decision, that this data is corrected. So the first one on the strategy, it's first collect only the data that you need. And the second more important conviction about the data strategy, it's more about the customer satisfaction. In fact, when we collect the data, we need to make sure that it's useful for the client and it makes an impact on the satisfaction. That's the way to main point on our data strategy.
Okay, and what are the main challenges? I can imagine that data volume is huge in your environment. What other challenges do you typically have?
Yes, it's very huge, but for a long time ago, because we are a French company which have 25 years old. So at the beginning, when you want to buy a ticket train, you do it on an application. So at the beginning, we still have a huge that amount of data. It's not an issue to have an amount of data because we need to make sure that we have security, that is we have we respect RGPD in French. Sorry.
Yep, the privacy, security, privacy.
Security, exactly. And this, we do it by design. So for us, it's not an issue. And now we are on the cloud. And so to have a big amount of data is not the issue for me. The issue is that to make sure that when you collect, it's okay, it's fine, it's easy. In fact, it's after that when the data transform itself to make sure that at each transformation, everything is good, the quality is good, and at the end, when you display this data, is correct. That is the main issue. So we make some quality check in the time from each step to make sure that the data is correct. And when the data at the end is correct, you can do what you want to do with the algorithm or with AI generation, what you want, whatever.
Okay, super. So we have an idea of your data strategy and your main focus points. We have talked about the full train alert system and about my Train-spective application to measure your CO2 impact or positive impact by taking the train. Now you also have several AI and GenAI applications for customer service that you have implemented. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Yes. So in fact, we GenAI, we use it very we do it like test and learn at the beginning. So it's we use it in the customer, let's say customer sales, not sales, customer services. Sorry. In fact, in Paris, when you book a train, at the end, if you have an issue, you can call someone or you can just chat someone. And these people, these agents in the customer services, have multitude of point of contact with clients. It was very complicated for them to be quicker, efficiency, relevant to our customer. So we decide to come to see them, to understand what are their issues. So we do that. And we see that they have so much tools and so much way to answer to the client. So we decide to use AI generative to help them to be more efficiency, more productive, more relevant. And it was more change management that we do. So it was takes time, and we take 1 year to do that. We start little bit with little agent, and after we grew up. And at the end, the agent was very great because they are more efficient with the client. So that's great. But also at the end, it's not the AI generative who display the message. It's the agent who say it's correct or not. So in fact, it was very human, let's say human adventure, because we need to convince them at the beginning that it will be a useful tool. And that was the first challenge. And the second challenge is to make sure that the AI generated do good job, because at the beginning, they do not answer well to the question.
And can you tell me a little bit, because like I said, there's a lot of change management that has to go on in a process like that. People have to work in different ways than they did before. So how do you and your teams manage that change management challenge, so to speak?
In fact, the teams go. The teams go a lot of time with them. They spend time with the agent to understand, to see, to explain. Very, very important to make it very closely with them, and to explain them that it's for us. It's not that the GenAI will replace their job. That was very important to explain that, but it's more about that we need to more help them to be better relevant. So what we do, we just take some human relationship, that's it, and just each time that was their decision if the AI was great or not. If they are not happy, they say we are not happy, so we try to find another way to be better, etc. It's like iterative, and takes time with them to explain the benefit that they will have. And at the end of the day, there was some who was very happy, and there was some that do resist. They do want to do that, but at the end, when you take time and you do it all the time, everyone was very happy about using the GenAI.
Okay, and would you say that the initial objectives of the GenAI project in customer care was achieved, and how do you measure this kind of results of such a project?
Alors, we measure by two KPI. The first one is the satisfaction of the agent, because it is for them, okay? And that was very important to follow that. So we ask them how they feel, etc. And we saw the way that we improve. And the second one, we receive a volume of demand. And we see that on this volume of demand, we are more productive, because we have less, let's say, less request on the computer during a day. At the end of the day, everything is not closed, but almost closed. So that was two KPIs that we followed for that.
Okay. Do you also measure that in financial terms, the cost reduction that you can make with that, and maybe also for the for the full train alert and for the my Train-spective application. Do you also measure that in financial terms, which sometimes is not an easy thing, right?
Alors, for the customer care, yes, financial ROE, yes, is very easy because you are more. You see that you will have more. You can respond more to clients. It's very easy. My retrospective, we do not have some ROE. It's not the objective. The objective is more about the satisfaction of the client. And when you see, and so we measure like communication. When you see that people was very happy and share it, or when they say on the social media that there is an amazing things on the SNCF.com, so that was great. And we measure more about client satisfaction for this one, not in terms of financial point of view.
Yeah, it was more the return on reputation that was important.
Let's say like that, exactly.
Now, if you look back at the last couple of years that you've implemented these major programs, what would you say were the 3 critical success factors that really made this delivery possible?
For me, the success, the 2 main success, it could be, again, I think it's more about to be client first. Mm-hmm. It's very important because it's not like words. We need to be client first. And I will give you an example on the data. For example, my team, we create some algorithm, we create some score segmentation, etc., for the people who use it for the final clients. I measure the internal client satisfaction. So we do all this in all the company, outside and inside. It's very important to have this kind of information. We follow that and we have some objectives. So we are very client first. That is the first thing. And the second one, I will say, it's more about data strategy. You need to have a data strategy, what is very clear. And when I say that we do not collect everything, we do not collect everything. We collect only what we need.
Okay, and what's your implementation strategy? Because you're touching millions of people with your applications. I mean, how do you make sure that you do this in the right way? Do you first do a small proof of concept and then scale it up? What's the approach there?
Alors, it's depends, but yes, in fact, we have a community of clients where we can test with them, so they can see before we launch for all the people, they can see the feature, and so we ask them what they feel, how can their feedback, and so in this case we have some information and we see if we need to launch or not. So that's the first thing. So it's like a proof of concept, but we vary at the end with the final guidelines. And the other one is we have let's say a black application just for internally, and we use it. We test it, and we give some feedback to the product team to improve the feature that we launch, for example.
Okay. Could we also
for my retrospective, for example, I have a version to share with me, and now I need to check that if the data correct, if the flow is right, what is my satisfaction. I can give some feedback before the launch, and so they improve this feature for the client.
Okay, so you test your own application in your daily train journeys as well.
Exactly, and we know, it's very complicated because on the phone you have Android, iPhone, and so we need to give all the statistic about the phone, all issue that we have, and we fill in some file, etc., and we have the answer all the time. It was very great. I'm like a client in this case.
I mean, in all these programs that you've been working on, they're all very cross-company. I mean, they touch on teams in product, in marketing, in operations, in customer care, and data and engineering. How do you make sure that all the main stakeholders are on board?
We use one method. I didn't know if you know that. It's more about objective key results. It's a famous, it's OKR. And in all the team, product team, marketing team, data team, technology team, we are all the same objective and we have the same key results. So we are, let's say, we have exactly the same objective together. So that means that when we take a decision on the same way. And so it's more about collective efforts that we do to make decisions. So for the stakeholder, as we decide the objective and the key are, it's fine. So it's very important to make sure that you have the objective, you have a key result to measure, and you see that the project in on the way or not. And so we then progress together with transparency and very let's say quick results that we can share together.
So you have to make sure that the noses are all in the same direction.
Yes, exactly.
And then that you measure your results and that you're transparent to all the teams about the results.
We measure the result at a monthly basis. And at quarterly basis, we just run to make sure that we are in the right direction. Because in fact, when you work on data project, it takes time. So you need to share all the time. So with my peers, with my colleague, I explain if I have an issue with the data, we try to find a solution. And so you need to be transparent and to share all the time the steps that you have, and everything is fine.
So, Angélique, beyond the immediate results of these programs, what are the new long-term capabilities in the team and in the company that this work has created?
I will say that, first of all, my team know more about the data. Let's say they learn about the data, the open source that we use, for example, for the Train-spective. So they develop their knowledge about that. Another capability could be maybe to work together, because all the projects that I explained to you, that there is marketing, product, tech, and data team. So we make some, let's say, social internal capabilities. And maybe the last one is more about to be, again, more client focused. You know, it was very important, because now they think client, but at the beginning, they do not think client.
Becoming an effective leader for big programs like these means that sometimes you have to step outside of your own comfort zone. Can you share an example from this journey where you had to do this and how it paid off?
In fact, let's give you an example about my Train-spective. You know, at the first time when we launched it, it was very amazing day and amazing of mouth. And you know, there is the president of SNCF who would like to have his own. So I say, no, I can't, because I didn't have this data, because he used another way to book their train. And 2 years later, he come to me, say, I would like to have it this year. So I was not very comfortable, because I know that I was not in my right zone, because I say, okay. But in fact, my manager say, you should tell him that no, if he do not buy his ticket train on the application, he will not have this retrospective. So for me, when I send my comfort zone, because in fact, it's very complicated that you have, you know, the big president who come to you to have this information, you have to say yes. And after, you have your manager who say you should tell no. And she's told me that now it's your way. You have to explain him why you don't have the data. So I was not very comfortable, but anyway, he doesn't have it. And next time, maybe I will do my best to help him to have this. And so for the next time, maybe even if it's a big president of the company, I should tell him that no, it doesn't have, because he didn't buy on it. Maybe next time I will be more, let's say, direct on him instead of to say yes.
So, Angélique, if you would not have chosen a career in data and in digital leadership, what was the probably passion-driven as well, the passion-driven path that you might have taken?
Yes, in fact, I would like to be a mathematics teacher. Okay. So that was very great, something that I would like to share my knowledge, to help people to grow up. So it's something that I would like to do, but I'm not. And for that, I do some teaching in a business school with students to just, it's in 1 year, but it's very important for me to explain my expertise to future leader, and to have their feedback also, because young people are very different from the way they think and the way they work.
Yeah, absolutely, they are. So Let's talk a little bit about the next big challenge, or let's call it the next big opportunity inside the SNCF Connected Tech that you're really excited about to explore. What's the next big major programs on the horizon?
In fact, one thing is very important for us for a long time, but we know that we can do it now with the technology. It's more about the personalization. Mm-hmm. Because when we do personalization today, it's more about segmentation, it's more about a group of people. But now with AI, we can do a personalization, a person one-to-one. In fact, it's very true. It's arrived, but it's a huge challenge about the data quality. Because how I need to make sure that when I do one-to-one personalization, that everything is fine, is right. So that will be the big challenge that we will have soon.
Okay. And where do you see the big opportunities for AI in your environment? And you think responsible AI is a major force to manage?
Yes, AI is also a big impact, of course. And for us, it's more about the human impact that we have, because we know that we use already AI for the people, let's say internally, and you need to make sure that, okay, you are more efficient, you are more relevant, but are you sure that everything is fine? You need to make sure that people can make sure that can see if it's right or not. Mm-hmm. And that is, I think, a big challenge. And I try to tell my people that is that true or not. I will give you an example. We are in a meeting, and so we try some things that we asked to the GenAI, and he gave us one figure. Mm-hmm. And I say, are you sure that it's correct? And the people say, I don't know. And that is very important, to make sure that when you use the AI, the result, you need to make sure that it's true, and you need to challenge yourself before you use it.
Yeah, we need to still today test the outcome of the AI and
exactly.
Make sure that it's not hallucinating and just making things up just to please us, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, Angélique, I would like to thank you for your time today, and I would like to end with one question. So it was really a pleasure speaking to you today. And so my question to you is, well, if another technology leader, data leader, were to start a similar journey that you have done over the last 3 years or so, what would be the most important pieces of advice that you would give them?
What is very important, I think, is to make sure that you can measure the impact of your project. It's very important to elevate everything you do, to make sure that when you need to present to everyone at the end, that you have impact, that you have increase, even if it's positive or negative, you don't care, but you have impact on your project.
Okay, super. And on that note, thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to meeting you soon, face to face. It was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.